Have you ever met one of those people who just can't be stopped? It's like they're unstoppable.
Yeah, I have.
Me too.
What's their mystique?
Nothing stops these people.
Don't stop.
Welcome to Mission Unstoppable with Coach Frankie Picasso. You're about to meet some of the most amazing people.
Stop. Don't stop.
They've accomplished their goals despite insurmountable odds. They beat adversity, physical hardship, and traumatic events, and emerged triumphantly. They're people just like you and me, and they're winners. Are you?
Hello there, and welcome to Mission Unstoppable. I have to say, my Facebook Live is a little bit weird today, and I think I'm going to have a bunch of. Hang on here. I have to do this. I'm sorry because oh, good. It's off. Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is live radio. I just love it. Don't you love it? Radio, TV. You can see what a goof I am. Well, it's Mission Unstoppable today, and we are going to go on a mission deep into the heart and mind of a woman who knows that sales is supposed to be fun. Hey, why? Because she makes oodles of money doing it and loving it. Alison Edgar is the Managing Director of Sales Coaching Solutions, and she's the entrepreneur's godmother. Yep, she is one of the UK's top 10 business advisors and #1 in sales and marketing. Alison is regularly featured on BBC One Breakfast, the Sunday Times, the Telegraph, the Guardian, as well as BBC Radio for Moneybox. And she's recently appeared on LBC Radio. And today, you're going to find out why she is a much sought after guest. Alison has trained thousands of people nationally and internationally. Her client list ranges from startups all the way through multinational conglomerates and includes Dragon's Den and Apprentice winners. A newly published author of the book, Secrets of Successful Sales, Alison explains her 4 pillars of sales, and she shows us why she has reached #1 on the Amazon bestseller charts. Welcome to the show, Alison.
Wow, thank you so much, Frankie. It sounds really fantastic when you put it that way.
Yeah, don't you sound great? There's something happening not quite right on Amazon, on live, on Facebook. We're gonna go back. We are gonna go back. Hang on. I think we're gonna go back. Yeah, we have to go back. Sorry, everybody. I know that you're hearing me, but you're probably not seeing me. We're gonna go back. Sorry, there was something just really goofy. No, I want to do it again. I want to do it on my own page. This is so weird. I have never had this happen before. How bizarre.
It's me, I'm Jinxie.
Maybe. It's all this red and yellow.
The oranges are in town.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to go again. But we have the whole thing anyway, so that's cool. Let's see if this is going to work this time. This can take it. Don't put third-party ads in your live video. I didn't. Okay. I have never, ever had this before. This is so bizarre. Okay. Well, I guess we're good. I can see you.
I can see
delay.
you.
Okay. So I think we're on. Good. All right. So this is Mission Unstoppable, and on Mission Unstoppable, I like to talk about, what you do and everything, but I like to go back to the very beginning because people look and go, how come she's so successful? Was she born that way? And maybe you were and maybe you weren't. I don't know. Well, I kind of know because I read your book, but let's go back to, little Alison, who 5 years old, 6 years old, who played with Barbie or whatever you played with. And, did you think, oh, I'm going to grow up and be the most successful entrepreneur? Did you know what an entrepreneur was?
Oh,
No.
and I wouldn't, as a dyslexic, I would never have known how to spell it.
Yeah. So what did you play with?
So I had an older sister, so there's 7.5 years between us. So my sort of best game was trying to play with all of her stuff without her noticing. But again, if you look, by the time I got to like 5, she was 12. So she had like all the cool face creams and the cool perfumes, and it was just like, I was like that, slapping it on. So I think, again, I was quite sociable. And in Scotland, which is where I originate from, we would play outdoors a lot of outdoor play. So we played with the balls against the wall.
Yeah, I love that.
That kind of stuff. So high-rise flat, so there wasn't a lot of space, so we're going to play as often as we can.
Nice. Well, okay, so your parents, just kind of average people, right? Like your dad worked at the shipyard and your mom did cleaning. Is that correct? Do I have it right?
Yeah, so my dad, yeah, he was, the QE2 was built, and the Queen Mary were both built in Clydebank, which is where I'm from. And my dad was a draftsman, so he would work on the the boards and things to get the ship ready. And again, we had no money, but we were always brought up, with a really strong work ethic. And my mum wanted to be there to send us out to school and to be there when we got back from school. So the only job that would fit in there was a school cleaner. So my mum would get up at 5 a.m. every morning, she would clean the schools, then she would come back, and then my dad would go to work. And then my dad would come back from work at 5-ish, whatever time, and then my mum would go back out and clean the schools again. So, they had and you look now, Frankie, and not all families are two-parent families, and although we didn't have any money, we were a very close family, and it was quite a strict upbringing. I was a holy terror, to be fair. I was really trying my patience, and my sister was the most polite, well-mannered, child, and then all of a sudden, 7.5 years later, my mum and dad get a holy terror. So but again, I look back at it with I don't know if you never really miss what you've not got.
Yeah.
But I think for us it was always the lack of money that was a tricky thing, that come the end of the month, we had to live on potatoes and beans, and I hate potatoes. I think I'm the only person that hates potatoes. So, but again, I don't look back at it, but I didn't ever really know what I wanted to do. When I was at school, it was like, I have no idea.
Never thought, when I grew up, I'd love to be a ballerina or a nurse, nothing.
Do you know what? I think I always wanted to be a travel rep. I mean, in the UK, they've got like the holiday companies 1830. So I think I always wanted to be a traveler, or a bit of air hostessy type things.
I want to do that too.
On the radar, anything to do with travel and people, I think were my big things.
Yeah, you knew that your strengths lay in chatting.
I certainly wasn't going to become a financial advisor or an accountant. Nothing to do with numbers. Although I like numbers, I didn't love numbers. I love people.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so I think you were 16 or so, you decided leave home, and your first job was at a hotel?
Yeah, that's right. So again, my mum and dad, I knew that academia wasn't for me, and at that time I couldn't actually work out why, because I really tried hard, but I couldn't retain information. So even when it came to, and again, I think when you're at school, you don't really know the path. And because my sister had gone like a science path, she's a pharmacist. So I just thought, I'll do that too. So of course I'd taken all the wrong subjects, and I couldn't retain the information. So even when it was coming to study things like chemistry, so I can read a page, and I can, like, I don't know, 10 minutes later, I can't remember what was on the page. And I always had a big drama about reading out loud. And we used to, in English, have to go round the class and everybody would read a paragraph or a page. And honestly, I thought I was going to vomit at that stage, because I just couldn't, the words just weren't, I can't read them. Like even now, as a grown-up woman, if I read, I sound like I'm like 5, because it's all very disjointed, because the words go all over the place. So I knew something wasn't really quite right, because everybody else seemed to be able to do that really perfectly. So again, a bit of my coping strategy was to be the bit of the joker, and it was great, but I knew that school wasn't for me. So I'd said to my mum and dad, like, I can't stay on any longer. I'm 16 now, it's time, I'm allowed to leave. And again, working class Scotland, especially in the shipyard areas, when the shipyards closed, there was really high unemployment, really high teen pregnancy. So like my mum and dad's biggest worry was that I was going to be on the dole, or I was going to be having babies at 16 and
coming back on them.
Yeah, like, so they said, well, you can leave school, but you have to get a job. So if you can leave school if you want to, we can't make you stay, but you're not leaving anywhere without a job. So I had a good friendship group, and I was going out with a boy in Scotland at the time, and his dad worked in one of the hotels. And literally I just said, do you think there's any chance I can get a job? So that's it. That very day or the next day, I got a job as a hotel receptionist. And I absolutely loved it, but it wasn't what I expected. So I thought a hotel receptionist stood there and go, here's your key, checking in, here we go. No, in small hotels, you do everything. So by the time I was 16, I was balancing all the cash registers. The bars didn't close till 1 a.m. So I was there till 1 a.m. cashing up. And at the time, this is going to make me sound really old, but it was life before computers. So it had to all be entered in a manual tab system. And again, everything, every bit of revenue that came in, every bit of expenditure. So again, I think that really helped me from a business perspective because I knew how to make the money, know how to balance the cash. I knew how to find the missing penny when the penny wasn't there. And by the time I was sort of 16, 17, we did a lot of weddings. So I would be emceeing the weddings. I'd be organising the weddings. I'd be running the chefs. Just literally over that time, I sort of began to find something that I was really good at. And I think for the first time, I just felt at home, because school had been so hard that I thought, oh, this is it. And I loved the shift work. So we did late, early. And I loved it. I loved having, the working the weekends never bothered me. And it was just, by the time I then became 19, I was head receptionist and looking after the hotel. So it was fab. I loved it.
Yeah, I can see that you loved it. It shows. I'm very similar experiences. And it's, I love that there's such a varied perspective to the job, because I always tell people that you can take all of those skills and transpose them to doing whatever it is I can't do that, I've never done that. Who cares if you've done it as a mother, you've done it as a receptionist, you've done it as whatever, right? And they can't see how that transfers. But I think any time you have a chance to do anything, it goes in your toolbox, right?
For sure. And it's interesting because I look back and I think about jobs and things like that and applying for jobs, and you could never really match the whole list of what they wanted. And I always just had that line, even you say, I've done that, and even if you get to a job and you start a job, you go, oh, we did it slightly differently in that role, how do you do it here? And I think as long as you can think on your feet and you're a quick learner, that's okay, because the skill set that you need for pretty much everything is in the toolbox.
Okay, guys. Okay, I gotta stop you right there, because if you've been coached by me, or if you listen to my shows, you heard me do this. If I think it in my head, I can do it.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same. It's exactly how I got my jobs in the past, and I've had 100 different jobs because I said, you know what? I got hired by the government. They go, do you know how to use PC? And I knew Mac. I didn't know PC.
Yeah.
They go, no, but give me an hour and I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 years later, how do you do that? But who cares? I was already doing the job. They didn't care.
Yeah. That's as long as they get the output.
And that's it. That's the secret. The big secret.
We're like sisters from another mother.
We are.
I should have put my glasses on today. I feel like I should have worn my glasses so that
I should have straightened my hair. But I love it. Yeah, I mean, that is it exactly in a nutshell. And so we're going to talk about Alison, we're going to talk about your new book. Let's hold up your book.
Oh, here it is. Secrets of Successful Sales.
And it's on Amazon. You get it, all kinds of bookstores. And you talk in the book, you've broken into 4 pillars of sales. Because it's really important to have that stability around you. Now, you went to the Queen's tea or was it the tea or the breakfast? You have to we're not used to it here. Yeah. And you've been invited and you've been honored and you've gotten awards and all kinds of stuff for your sales. But now you're the godmother and you want to help smaller businesses and new entrepreneurs understand what it is to sell. And I love this line that you said, your mission statement is, when it's delivered correctly, sales and customer service are exactly the same thing. Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more.
I've even got a little thing. I go, exactly the same thing. So that again, it cements it when people are watching it, because, I so passionately believe that. And it's interesting because having worked for corporate, they've obviously got the mission statement and they've got the vision statement and stuff. And it was always just something, again, because I can't retain the information, it was something that you just had to learn to pass the box to say that you've done the thing. And then someone on LinkedIn said, so what is your mission statement and your vision statement? I went, oh,
Ooh,
I
I
kind of
hate
really
doing that kind of stuff.
Well, actually, the mission statement is really service are exactly the same. And then it came to the vision statement. I'm like, I don't really know what a vision statement is. And I thought, well, that's where do I envision myself being, So ideally, my vision statement is I want to be the Adele of the sales training
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
And it's not to be it's really interesting. I was listening to an interview on the radio with Sam Smith, the
Oh, yeah.
singer, and he's really quite an introvert. And what he said was, like, he always wanted his music to be famous, but he never really wanted to be famous. Whereas for me, again, I mean, the book for me has been really overwhelming because the feedback has just been amazing. People I don't know are sending me private messages on social media
Nice.
to say how much it's changed their sales, how much it's inspired them. And, frankly, I'm just being me. And, the thing, what you see here is the 5-year-old girl who's the 16-year-old girl who's the 28-year-old girl who's the 50-year-old woman. I've kind of just always had a love for life, love for people. I never get tired. And even when we're working in the office, literally I love to sing, I love to dance, and I don't, people find it inspiring. I'm just literally being me. But if it inspires one person, me being me, then that's the Adele of sales training, isn't it?
Well, I've interviewed a lot of people about a lot of business and a lot of sales, and yours is, your book truly, I could have written it almost. It was almost like, yeah.
Because we're sisters.
Yeah. I mean, it was really like, that's my philosophy. That's what I believe. That's been true for me in my life, and that's how it goes, right? And like, there's a secret to it, and the secret is understanding who you're speaking to. Really, that's it in a nutshell. Know who you're speaking to, and stop yourself. Just stop. Learn to stop yourself when you can see their eyes glaze over. Like, you've lost them. Sorry. Like, don't keep going on.
So many people don't know that, and I think for me, the reason behind the methodology, I think it's probably better to go back slightly before that as to why I started the business, because I had always been an overachiever. I worked for corporate companies. I always won the prizes. I had the big commissions. I had the good car, and I loved sales. I still, to this day, they say those who do and those who can't teach. Ultimately, every single day, I'm still selling. I'm still running a business. Right. So I adore sales, and I love the thrill, and I love the, and that sounds really harsh, but I love even the rejection, because I think, right, what's my next angle back in again? Because, a no isn't a no forever. A no is just for now. So you've always got to make sure you're looking for a different angle to go back. And what I saw, and again, a lot of people had a massive fear of sales. And it's interesting because the working title of the book actually changed. The working title wasn't Secrets of Successful Sales. The working title was Selling is Not Swearing. And the reason it was called that was, I can go to an event or go somewhere with friends, and they'll say, what is it you do? And I'll go, I'm a sales trainer, or I'm in sales. And they'll go, you can feel them like, but I can walk into a room and have a conversation. I can use the F word, and not one person even flinches. And I'm thinking, well, hang on, why are you feeling like that about sales? When I could have said the F word and you wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
So,
it's got a bad rap. And, and is it selling? Is it selling when you're giving somebody something that they want? Or is it informing? Like, when I took a life insurance job on a dare from a guy in a bar. You couldn't sell it. You can't do it. Okay. So, but the one thing I learned during that job, during the time I was there was one manager, he said, everybody has the right to know. And when I got that in my head, it wasn't sales anymore. I'm just telling you, hey, you got a brain, you got 2 feet, you can choose what you want, right? Here's what this is what we have here. I want to tell you about it. And you can go, you can stay, you can buy it. I don't care. And that's it. You have the right to know about it, because you don't know about this yet. And that's
And,
it.
you know, I think a lot of people, you know, you look at the small business community, because that's again where my heart and my passion lie. And I do, under my sales coach and solutions brand, I will work with bigger companies and get bigger budgets. And, you know, all joking aside, most of the revenue comes from that side of the business. But my heart and my passion lie with the startups, the micros, and the owner managed businesses, because for them, not, you know, if you
That's
don't
their
sell,
bread and butter.
that's it, you know, and it just, and what the reasoning sort of behind it was, I used to sell advertising to people like that, the startups, the micros, the owner managed, the small businesses. And in the UK, you know, we went through a couple of recessions, just to do, as you did in the States and North America, and it was really tough. And what happened was, when their advertising wasn't working, the phone didn't ring.
Yeah.
And when the phone didn't ring, they didn't know how to proactively sell. They didn't know how to. And I'll give you an example. One of the guys was a removal company, but as retail, realtor sales, as the house sales drop, you don't really need removals. So he didn't, you know, he didn't really know what to do. And I said, well, why don't you wear your nice polo shirt? Why don't you get the paper? Why don't you look on the internet, find out who's selling their houses? Soon as they're selling the houses, you knock the door and say, hi, my name's Dave. This is my card. You know, when you're ready to move, I'd love to help you. Be proactive.
Right.
And that was the thing, you know, and that every little community could be proactive, but they choose not to be, because they're reactively waiting on the phone to ring. I mean, it doesn't, they were
And I
phoned.
just wonder though, Alison, I just wonder, because, you know, you and I are idea people. Like, we can get a gazillion ideas in a minute and throw them out to people, right?
Yeah.
But most people aren't like that. And, and so, like, they're going, oh, I never even thought about that.
I know.
And it's like, what?
That's the amazing
But they
thing.
didn't.
So, you know, when we came up with that, I thought, right. And the company I worked for, again, it was media advertising, and they were in print, and the more digital was taking over, print was declining, and you know, we were targeted for selling things that I didn't believe in.
Yeah.
And I can't sell something.
I cannot sell something I don't believe in either.
So it was time. It was really just time. So I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea. So I phoned my friend in Scotland that I'd gone to school with, and I went, I have no idea. She goes, you're going to set up your own company, teaching people to sell the way that you sell, from your heart and from your. I went, oh, I so am. So the next day I had the domain name registered. We'd started building the website. So again, it was really quick. And, you know, even then, like, entrepreneur, didn't really think about that. I'm just starting a little business. And I started in 2011. And between 2011 and 2014, I think, you know, again, I'm sure your viewers can relate to this. Sometimes you think, I can't do it, and I gave up, and I started, and, you know, it just literally was like a roller coaster ride, because I just didn't have a focus. I didn't know what I was doing. I was frightened. You know, even I was starting to become fearful of networking, and I'd gone to networking, and somebody said, that man needs sales training. I went, well, he doesn't need me then, because I'm not really a sales trainer. I've just like started this company, and it was just that whole bit at the start was really, really tough. And my husband, at the time, I had my kids would have been maybe 9 and 11. And again, touch wood, I'm blessed with an amazing husband who's really patient, Neil. And I said, you're not taking me and my business seriously. And he went, Alison, I'm not taking it seriously because you're not taking it seriously. You're on a minute, off a minute, on, and I went, oh, yeah, okay. So in 2014, that's when I went for it. I went, you know, I limited the company, went incorporated. In the UK, I went VAT registered. I took on a team. That's when I really started to not play at it, to go for it seriously.
So is that when you started to wear pink?
Yeah. Well, I do you know, I'll tell you the story with the pink. The story with the pink is actually quite funny. So we have a thing, and I know that you have it in the US and North America, called Small Business Saturday, and it's sponsored by Amex. And it's a big, you know, again, I love community. I love being part of a community that supports small business. And what they do every year, they choose 100 businesses to represent Small Business Saturday. So, and it's really funny. It was quite a new campaign at the time. So you do a little video. I did it on my iPhone in the car. I sent it in. I didn't even call it Small Business Saturday. I called it Startup Saturday. Anyway, they could obviously see my passion, and they chose me as one of the 100, which was fab. But from the 100, they then chose 8 of the small businesses to run a Christmas market in Downing Street. So number 10 Downing Street.
Yeah.
So they picked me as one of the 8, which was just, again, you know, these opportunities, it's just fantastic. But a lot of these things,
But at the market, you were selling coaching at the market, or
yeah,
selling
you know, just like a little stand, and I had my pop-up in there, and I was in like the little wooden grotto thing, and then other people were selling like maybe picture frames.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wouldn't have thought that.
You know, but I'll tell you an even funnier story. So I, you know, so this is me, and I think this is when I had to pinch myself. I am at 10 Downing Street. So again, it's a bit like being invited to the
the Prime Minister's house.
It was massive. And I got there, and because we were in the Christmas markets, we were outside. And Michelle, who runs the campaign, was there, and they were all really busy. And I said, "Oh, I'm really sorry, but I need a wee. Where's the portal? You know, where are the loos?"
Little porta potties.
And she said, "Alison, you go and knock the door on number 10." I went,
Oh,
I love that, really. Where's the loo? And she goes, you knocked the door of number 10. And
I thought she was joking you.
I couldn't wait any longer, and I went up and I knocked the door of number 10. And I literally have to pinch myself that there's little old me from Clydebank, who was brought up in the council flat, that left school at 16, is at number 10 Downing Street. Yeah. But before I had gone, I saw a picture of a group of people who'd been at Downing Street before, and they were all wearing black coats. It's winter, so Small Business Saturday here is in December, so they're all wearing black coats. And I went, how am I going to stand out in that picture? So I literally, again, it's just fate, timing. I'd gone to the store, and we've got Debenhams as our big department store, and there was like a bright pink coat. I'll have that. So now, and again, it just helped me to stand out. So as part of my strategy, I don't want to be in a room where people don't know that I'm in the room, because otherwise I'm wasting precious time. So I literally, everywhere I go, I wear bright pink. It's all over the book. It's just everywhere. So that's how the pink came about, was at number 10 Downing Street. And since then, it's like just brand association, really.
Sure. Yeah. It can either be pink or a tiara, one or the other, right?
Yeah, I wear my tiara as well. It's cool.
Do you?
Yeah, I've got a tiara and a wand. Woo! And I, you know, I think that's another thing which again evolved, because during the period between 2014 and 2016, again, the timing was great, because the government funded the services that I delivered, or they funded, they 50% matched. So what it meant was, again, the really small businesses could afford to pay me, but also I could actually make good money. You know, I could really start to grow the business, you know, get it up to 6 figures, you know, really start to integrate something good. And that was all swimmingly going really well until 2016, when the government stopped the funding. And then you think, oh, hang on, how am I going to do this? Because the ones that need me most, the startup, the micro, the owner managed, they can't afford it. They don't have any money. So I just thought, and I thought, well, what I could do is go down more of a coaching route, but it would have to be more of a too many, because again, the one-to-one just wasn't viable to pay wages and stuff like that. So I've got a client in London who makes gin. And he is the naughtiest boy you will ever meet. I love him. We went on a global mission to New York, and we nearly got kicked out of New York.
Oh my God.
So naughty. He's just a naughty boy. And I phoned him up and I said, oh, Ross, I need a name for my personal brand. He went, oh, that's really easy. And I went, is it? He said, you're the entrepreneur's godmother. I so am the entrepreneur's godmother. So again, just really, the name came to me rather than me going to the name. And I think that's where, again, I've got some amazing clients, you know, the one Dragon's Den, which is like Shark's Tank, or The Apprentice, and, you know, just I've got a really cool group of little people that I'm the entrepreneur's godmother to, and also the, you know, the bigger stuff. So it's a great balance.
So as the godmother, are you in a coaching role? Are you in a physical, let me come into your business and, you know, show you how to run it role, or what? Yeah,
kind of both, to be fair. I mean, I try and stick to sales, because there's a lot of people who do general, and there's a lot of people who do marketing, or they do sales and marketing. I kind of stick to sales. So depending on the size of the business, what I do, I do a live show called Easy Peasy Sales. Mm-hmm. And it's a full day. So again, you know, you've read the book. I try and get as much of that methodology out to the people who need it as possible. So what I'll do is, you know, I charge, I think it's about £120. So I don't know, what's that, $150 or something like that. But I'll have about 30 or 40 people in the room. But again, because I can control a room that big, and we do interactive exercises, and literally throughout the day, I just see bing, 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 all the light bulbs going on. So that's the kind of core. And then I've got online courses. So this is why I'm doing more and more and more internationally, because it's me to video, and that's really scalable. So they can do that as a package. And some of the packages include one-to-one Skype, or again, if they're close by, I'll do face-to-face. But again, they get me to, you know, they'll say, well, you know, what's the challenges, what are your goals, how are we going to hit them? Again, really focusing on sales and business growth. And then again, if they've got bigger companies, I'll go in. So I'm physically in there working with them, setting the KPIs, looking at the forecasting, and then, you know, literally working on what do they physically say when they pick up the phone, how do they follow the process, and how do they make more sales. So it's really quite interesting, because it's no 2 days are ever the same. No two businesses are ever the same. But it's just, I found a little cool way that it all fits together.
Nice. So you talk about the 4 pillars. Let's talk about what the 4 pillars are. We'll give people a general overview of what they can find in the book. I mean, it's really interesting. Their appetite. Because when I started the company, a bit like we were talking about with jobs, I started a sales training company, but I'd never been a sales trainer, and I had no idea what I was going to teach. So I would say, again, this is this space between 2011 and 2014. It was like, it didn't have much structure. But again, when it all just fell into place, because one of the core things for me is around DISC, you know, understanding behaviours, and DISC profiling around the psychology of sales. So that was always in there. And then sales is a process. So, you know, you look at manufacturing. So look at Ford, when they make the cars, it goes through the manufacturing process, and at the end you get a car. Sometimes things will fall through quality control. So, you know, you're not going to sell to everyone. Just like Ford, I'm not going to have the perfect car every single time. Then you've got strategy. So again, you know, talking about going to Downing Street, going to the Queen's Garden Party, a lot of this came from my initial befriending of a lady called Emma Jones, MBE, who runs Enterprise Nation. So again, that's where the voucher advisors were kept. So again, a lot of came from a good strategy at the start. But the 4th pillar is the one that I see more and more often, and especially in women, unfortunately, and it's confidence. They struggle with confidence. And the reason they struggle with confidence is they don't know the behaviours, they don't know sales process, and they don't have strategy. Because once you've got the other 3 pillars, the 4th one comes. And unfortunately, if you don't have confidence in yourself, your customers won't have confidence in you. And it's imperative that you have that confidence. So that's where the methodology came from. And DISC revolves around 4 colours: the red, the yellow, the green, and the blue. And just again, I was driving along the motorway one day, and I'm going, oh, hang on. So that's where DISC is. And again, the red is like this strategy, the, you know, the be brief, be bright, be gone. Well, hang on a minute. That's also the strategy part of my methodology. Wow, okay, that fits. And then you've got the blue. So again, the blue, as far as DISC goes, that's the really task-focused introvert. So they're really structured, and it's really, you know, detailed. Yeah.
Well, hang on, that's process. So that's blue. So that's, we got 2 pillars. Okay. And then we had like the green. So the green are the relationship-focused introverts. So again, they're more harmonious. They're, you know, they're slower, you know, they're more thoughtful, more caring. Hang on, that's really behaviour driven. Oh, wait a minute, that fits that pillar. And then you look at the yellows. So the yellows are the relationship focused extroverts. So they're all about people and confidence. Oh, hang on, confidence is that. So literally just, it was a eureka moment. Oh, that's my methodology. Wow, isn't that funny? It just fits around the 4 pillars of the colours in DISC. So that's how I came up with it. It wasn't anything too, literally it was driving along the motorway, and I went, hang on, why have I not always been doing that? So again, it evolved. And then when I wrote the book, it made it really, really, really easy to write the book because everything just fitted. If it didn't fit in a pillar, it wasn't in.
Yeah,
So,
and I didn't know, I heard of disc, but I'd never really, been analyzed with disc or anything. But when I sold, it was similar. It was like the ego-driven person, the aggressor, the analyzer. And it's like, on a split second, you're figuring out who these people are, right? Like, what is going on with this person? And the money person and the, cost and this guy.
Yeah.
So the ego, oh, you want a Beamer, don't you? Yeah, I'm going to be happy just having the 3 initials on my car.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll find you a great one. That's the thing. And you just have to figure out who they are and what appeals to them.
A lot of the time people will do it. I think going back. A lot of the time people will do it instinctively.
Yeah.
And there's loads of tools. So you've got Myers-Briggs, you've got Belbin. There's loads of tools out there that do sort of similar. But you tend to find a lot of people in sales are not academic. So when it comes when it comes to explaining it, everybody's heard of red, green, yellow, and blue. They all know the colours.
Right.
So that's why, again, I don't even talk. People will talk in the the disc language. I just talk colour because if you start to move into the different words, people go, "What one was that again?" Whereas I think if you just stick to colour. And
besides, you can't give your customer a test in the middle of talking to them. Going, I need to know what you are. I need to know how to sell you. Okay.
But it's interesting because you can tell them. I mean, we were talking off air about like retail and being served, and we're sisters from another mother, so we're both orange, and we both get that impatience because we're task focused extroverts. So we want it be brief, be bright, be gone. Don't waste my time. Right. But again, it's easy to pick that up even from just somebody's like breath. We've got the self-scan units and stuff. And if you're struggling to get your vegetables to scan, there's always somebody behind you going, even then you start to pick up the extroverts, because introverts don't want to stand out by huffing and puffing. And again, they're task focused. They just want to get their vegetables and get out the store. So, and the other thing, I mean, to me, again, something that I've created that I don't, I've not really seen anybody else doing that, is using the colours and LinkedIn. So using the LinkedIn photographs, how to approach people differently. Because, on LinkedIn, what I see is loads of people just bombarding you with messages, and it's like, oh, delete, delete, delete. Whereas actually, if they were to take a bit of time, look at the, if it's a red, they'll be looking right down the lens. If it's a yellow, they'll have a pina colada and a selfie. They'll have the dreaded grey egg. Or they will have like their family or their dog or their kids. And if it's a blue, they'll have on proper shirt and tie formal wear. So, even that's things like that, you can do it on LinkedIn. Yeah,
that's interesting. I like it. And the language that they use when they write about themselves too.
Yeah. Really interesting. And that's where, again, it's so easy to pick up these little, little parts, and because ultimately you're people by people, so you're just building a relationship, and people by people who are like them. So it's, again, just trying to adapt your behavior to be more like them.
And it's the mirror too, right? I mean, you mirror their behavior, and it's familiar, and so then they like you, and that's the whole thing. And just because we're an extrovert doesn't mean we can't calm down and be analytical what we have to say. It doesn't mean that. You have to be a chameleon. But true, you never lie. It's just about, becoming the person that they need you to be for them.
And I think it's about one of the...
Not lying. And I think people always think, oh, salespeople are big liars. No, you don't lie.
I think the key word is genuine.
Yeah.
Genuine. Like, if you're going to adapt to somebody and you're starting to talk about how they feel and, what they think, again, you have to slow down your pace and make sure it's, but actually genuinely care. If they tell you that their dog Rover has got a broken leg, remember, how's Rover? How's the leg? Don't just go, oh, well, that's great, thanks for that, and then move on to something else. Genuinely care about their needs and genuinely listen. I think it's, to me, it's just that word genuine, because we can all chameleon, we can all adapt, but people can see fakers. So again, it's don't be a faker, be genuine with your adaptation.
One of the great interviews I had really early on was with Ivan Meisner from BNI, and wonderful networking group and business group. And Ivan's thing is, givers get. And so you give, you offer your services, you offer yourself. What can I do for you first? And not just ask, because people are like, oh, you're just using me, you know, or whatever the feeling might be. But it's really a relationship business, isn't it? Sales is a relationship business. It's not get in and get out and I'll never see you again, I've scammed you. It's like, why would I want to, you know, have to get this customer back over and over and over? Like in a restaurant, I had lunch at a restaurant where a waitress threw my coffee at me. It was a chip cup. It was this, it was that. And I said, could I please have another cup? This is chipped and it's cold. And so she came back with the same cup and threw it at me again. And I'm like, okay, what did I do here? I was with a friend and I said, okay, we're going to share the sandwich, just have it cut in half. Oh, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that here. What do you mean I'm not allowed to do that here? I will pay the money for the full price and I'm going to cut it in half and share. You don't want to cut it? Fine, I'll do it myself. No big deal. By the time I left that restaurant, I'd seen the manager and I said, you need to have training here, because these people don't understand. These people don't understand. They're entrepreneurs. And every time you kick a customer out, you've got to try to get a new one. But I could come back every Friday and be in your thing and give you really big tips. You don't know that yet. But you would if you treated me nice, you know?
It's really short-sighted, isn't it?
Very short-sighted. They don't see it. And most businesses, you are an entrepreneur, even if you're an intrapreneur.
You know, I couldn't agree more with it. And you know, people say, well, wait a minute, why were you an overachiever, and you know, why were the other achievers in your team? And they, you know, I always felt like I ran my own business. I always, in fact, I was probably really hard to manage, because I would always, you know, rage against the machine when if the customer wasn't getting served correctly, or you know, again, trying to sell them.
It used to drive me crazy.
And it's like, well, no. And I think we used to have this thing called feed the producer. And what it would be is like, you all got, you know, your allocation of accounts. But again, you know, sales, there's a high turnover, people leave. So there's always like an excess of customers. And you used to get paid additional on this. So literally I would work really fast. And again, but good service, you know, I would always give the customers time. But again, I was really hot on my paperwork, really organized. So anytime there was feed the producer, I was like, pick me, because I'd get a good return on it. But that's where you made the money. And I thought, you know, why is not everybody thinking like that? Because they weren't thinking entrepreneurially. They weren't thinking like they were running their own business. And I do customer service training as well. And this is one of the things, again, the slides are more or less the same as I teach for sales, but it's what would I do if it was so again, around the mindset, you know, if it was what would you do if it was if say for example it's retail, what would you do if it was your first day? Well, you would turn up on time, you would look smart, you know, you would have made an effort, you know, you would take your lunch break at the right time. And it's things like that. Again, you know, you look at that waitress, you know, she probably hasn't washed her uniform. Again, I haven't seen her, but I've now got
well, you know who she is.
And she's thrown it. And, you know, what would you do? And also, you know, another one is, what would I do if it was my grandma? You know, would you do that if it was your grandma? And then what would you do if it was your business? Literally, would you be doing that? And again, if everybody felt like they were running their own business, then the business would run like the service business and the sales business that everyone would want it to.
And even if it's not your own business, if you ran it like it was your business, you're going to move up. You're going to move up. They're going to see that, right? They're going to see
and tips. Well, you know, anything in, you know, the service sector, everybody, that's how do you get the big tips? You give great service.
That's right.
You know, especially in the UK where it's not standard to tip. You know, not everybody in the UK gets a tip at the end of the cup of coffee. You got to get it. So, you know, but you can get really good tips. That's what I learned in hospitality.
I love tip. And you know what? And that's where I started when I first started working. And because of that, I never wanted a job where I got a salary. I want to be on commission. I just want to be, and people go, are you crazy? No, because I never wanted a ceiling to how much I was allowed to make.
Yeah, definitely.
Be your own boss. And even when I worked for the government, they asked me to work for them. I said, okay, but don't clock watch me.
Yeah.
Tell me when you need this done by, and I will have it there ready. But I'm not going to be here 9 to 5. I can work from here. I'm flexible. I need flexibility. It's part of my core, you know, values. And that's the other thing. You have to live according to your core values in alignment, or you're not happy. Mine are creativity and flexibility. And so if those aren't present, then I'm not going to be a happy camper.
And it's interesting because that's in the book. We talk about the Reds don't like to be micromanaged. Boom.
I do not like to be micromanaged. No, I'm very good at, you know, time and efficiency and getting things done when it has to be done by. As a matter of fact, I probably work better under pressure, but yeah, as most Reds do. So yeah, I mean, that's really the thing, is that anybody can sell. Anybody. You just have to be a little bit observant.
I agree. And I think one of the things, what would I say the most common faults are, or mistakes that people make, is that behaviours definitely, but the other thing is selling too soon. It is, I would say one of the most important things that I teach is around questioning technique, because literally, and this is in the book, we look at 3-year-old children. So as 3-year-old children, we ask who, what, why, where, when, how. Who, what, why, where, when, how. All the time. Open question, open question. We're not taught to do that. We're born to be little open sponges, and we learn more at that. I have a bit of a hang up with these school, or I can't remember what you would call that over there, but the junior schools. Because, as a small child, age 3, you would go from a small ratio, 1-to-1 with a parent, or 1-to-2 with grandparents, or 1-to-8 at kindergarten. So when you ask why, somebody actually will tell you why. Whereas when they go to school in the UK, the ratio is 1-to-32. So when you put your hand up and ask why, they say, sit down, ask that politely. Can I? Will I? Would you like to buy my product? And again, in sales, it's your worst nightmare, because if they say, no, I don't want to buy it, where'd you go? You're in a corner. Yeah. You've really got to engage. And, there is, again, all over LinkedIn and things, but it's not what the customer wants, it's what the customer needs. And again, that's where it's getting that to be the same thing. And you look at cars, for example. So, if you say to like a, 45-year-old man, what car do you want? Oh, I'd like a Ferrari or a Porsche 911 or a... But actually, hang on, you've got 3 small children and a large Labrador dog and only one car. So he might want a Ferrari or a Porsche, but
he's not getting it.
And the boot. So again, it's asking the right questions. How often you use it, and this is where a lot of people think, there's the cliched line, oh, you've got the gift of the gab, you can sell. Good sales is not about the gift of the gab. It's about using your 2 years and keeping this shut.
Right.
And then that's where, again, you get your chance to talk, but you need to know what the customer needs, because that's where it matches. And what I see a lot of times, people just selling too soon. And I do this, and I do that, especially on LinkedIn. And I do this, and I do that. I'm like, I don't care. You don't even know what I need. You're not talking about me as a customer. You're talking about you. I don't care. So, that's another sort of one.
And when people try to sell you something on LinkedIn and they haven't even read your profile, it's like, would you please just read about me a little bit? Or if you want to sell me something, figure out who I am. Because I don't even need what you're trying to sell me. Like, hello, you just wasted my time.
We look at, for me, again, looking at the strategy part. So, one of the things that people like, the stories that they like, is last year, I ran the first event in the Middle East of its kind in Kuwait.
Nice.
And what had happened was somebody literally just looked at my profile on LinkedIn. So they haven't proactively asked to connect, but again, keep an eye on who's watching your profile. And I sent a connection request and said, I noticed you viewed my profile. Were you looking for something specific or just to widen your network? Again, good alternative question, because it doesn't sound salesy, but it's quite strong, quite powerful. And she came back and said, actually, I'm looking for somebody to run this event, a first event of the Middle East on entrepreneurism and sales. Oh, lovely. When would you like to have a Skype to discuss? You're not selling it, literally. And then, when I had the Skype, it was like 2 of the people from the event, and I was asking them, what do you want from the event? How do you want that? What do you want it to look like? So eventually, again, they were doing the talking. They were starting to buy me because they were
buying into it.
We were buying into it, and that was it. So we ran the event in Kuwait, and it went really well. And, that again, that's another thing you've got in your portfolio that just elevates yourself and raises the desire for people to work with you.
I think that the last thing we need to talk about is the fear of asking for that close. And that's a really big one. And I have found that most people, because I always say, well, which one do you like? They want to be told what to do. Mostly, a lot of people want to be told what to do. And, right or wrong. But you know, you can, you know, I'm not going to say, when somebody says to me, oh, my favorite one is the pink one, it's like, that's your favorite one. It's not my favorite one.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
so what are you saying?
No, I don't care what your favorite one is. It's all
Yeah, I
about
don't care.
you.
That's good. Good for you. Oh, you like lamb? Wonderful. I don't. You know, whatever. But so that's a really bad close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the closings, you know, it's really interesting because if I run a course, at the start of the course, I get people to say, what do you want out of the course? What are the goals for the course? And 80% of the time it's closing. And do you know what I love at the end of the course? The problem isn't closing, Frankie, it's they haven't opened. They're trying to close too soon. So again, if you say, you know, I'll again go back to the car example. Okay, so, you know, this one here, we've got one which is the XYZ station wagon, or the ZYE. This one's got 5. How often are you using it? How important are things like petrol or diesel consumption? How often do you go off-road? Okay, so this one hasn't got off-road wheels. What do you think about that? No, I definitely want the one with the off-road wheels. Fantastic. Okay, so it's this one. Which colour do you want it in, blue or red? You know, that's how easy the close is, because they would go, okay, I'll have it in red. Or if they don't want it, they go, oh, and you would say, okay, so when would you want that delivered? Because again, it might be that they can't afford the payments, or, you know, it's just finding out, really getting inside the head of the person so that you're really delivering a customer service. And when they've given that, then great customer service leads to great sales. And, you know, when you come to the close again, it would be, so for me, you know, I've got to sell every day too. So I'll go through it and I give them the proposal, and it's literally, what date do you want me to start? Yeah. That's the close. That is it. Or which date would you prefer? Would you want me to start on the Tuesday the 21st or Thursday the 26th?
Yeah.
What I suggest is you maybe get the date booked in the diary, because my diary fills up really quickly. Best case scenario, we can change it. Worst case scenario, you know, best case scenario, we go ahead with that date. Worst case, we can change it. So again, I've given them an automatic close, I've given them an alternative close, and I've given them a best case, worst case scenario close, but ultimately I'm giving them a close.
Yeah, and you know, I go back to that guy with the car for a moment, because he wanted a Ferrari, but it wasn't the best thing for him. But you know what? You could have sold them hubcaps that look sporty. You could have sold them
loads of stuff.
Go in there and say, now you're starting to feel better about that minivan that makes you feel like, right?
For sure, but asking him what about the Ferrari he likes. So okay, that is, so again, that's where you, if you know it's the fancy hubcaps, you can, well, actually an alternative than this one is, but again, finding out, why do you want the Ferrari? Right. What about the Ferrari do you want? It might be just like it's a red car, you know.
Yeah.
But again, just by
yeah,
really getting into the psyche and, you know, what is it about that? Because I'm going to be the envy of all my neighbours, really.
Right, exactly.
But then again, things like that, he's a red.
You know what? We don't have too much time, but I want to go back to one thing that you had in the book, because this is important. That the no and the delay doesn't mean it's over. Like you delayed, like, oh my God, you delayed this poor man 12 times. And I'm like, I would have probably given up. I would have said, I don't care. But you know, he was persistent, and he, like, you were selling you tickets to the horse races or something.
Yeah, that's right.
And you were busy. Oh shit, I just got in my car. Oh crap, I'm just going into a meeting. Oh, it sounds like a big lie, but it wasn't. But no, I really, really, really want this, you know, please. And had it been me, I might have said, you know, why don't you call me at your convenience? However, that leaves them drifting out there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
I would never have phoned him back. And it, you know, I mean, what had happened, again, I know we're short on time, but literally I did want to go to the races, but I'm just really busy. And I think sometimes, again, people are put off, they think that's a fob off. But again, for me, he phoned me or contacted me 12 times. That was brilliant customer service. And eventually we went and we spent a fortune at the races and we won.
Yay! You got all your money back. Of course you won. Why wouldn't you? But that's a really important part of the book is, you know, the no, because even in coaching, I go, you know, in sales, it's always a yes and a no, 10 no's and a yes, and make it a game. Just make it a game. No, I'm going to get a no. I'm going to get a no. I'm going to get a no. Oh, great. Now I'm getting my yes, you know?
Yeah. And it's, you know, I'm pitching for a big contract to one of the banks, and I've been pitching it for 2 years, Frankie.
Oh,
2
wow.
years. And I've had a no, I think I've had a no 3 times. And again, I just go back with another angle. And again, you watch for change. So one of the things is there's been a change of personnel in that. So with change brings opportunity.
Sure.
So you knock on the door again, you know, ultimately, even when you get a no, it's not a no. You just, if you really, really want it badly enough, you find a way to get it.
Yeah. Wow. She's persistent. And that's why she's the godmother.
Ooh.
Not the godfather, but the godmother. But a nice one with a tiara and a magic wand.
Yeah, the wand.
The wand. Alison Edgar, you are such a delight. Oh my God, I just love talking to you. I could talk to you forever. And I know there's a whole bunch, you know what? I have to be honest. Our Facebook bombed. I don't know why. I've never had Facebook bomb before. Maybe there's something going on with them. I don't know. But it's okay because it's still going to be on YouTube later, and it'll be, you know, the radio podcast part will be on the Good Radio Network. And so we're cool that way. And I might even just repost it. We had a little bit of some lags in there from, and I apologize everybody if you're watching. It's just connection. Alison's and, you know, across the big pond. It's
a long way.
Long way. But that's okay. You know what? We persevered and I think you got the message, everybody. So again, go to Amazon, grab her book, Secrets. What is it?
Secret.
Hold it
It's
up.
www.edgar.com.
AlisonEdgar.com, because you've faded out there for a moment. And grab her book. It's a wonderful book. If you want to sell something, if you are an entrepreneur, if you don't know, you know, you're a little worried about this or that, everything is answered in that book for you. And you can start, you know, it's like the ABCs to Z of selling. So you don't have to worry about anything except opening it up, reading it, and off you go to the races. Right. Okay. Thanks again.
Perfect. Thank you, Frankie.
Thank you. And I'm just going to, I don't think we're there anyway. I'm going to stop the recording now.